How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Down to Earth with Kristian Harloff. This is our Monday through Friday UAP news channel where we try to get you guys out the word of everything happening within the world of the phenomenon. What's happening with potential disclosure, what's not happening with disclosure, what's the information that's coming out from new people. We cover it all, at least we try to. So if you're brand new to the channel, subscribe to the channel. And we just launched our membership as well. Don't worry. Oh, wait, now you're going to charge for this thing? No, what we do every Monday through Friday is not changing here, but we're also offering bonus content to people if you want it. If you want to learn more about the people in this community, we're going to do some things together over there. So memberships are available on this channel now, but don't start complaining about, oh, I used to watch it and now I have to pay for it. Nothing's changing. I'm just giving people an opportunity to have some bonus stuff if they want it. All right, so one of the things I want to cover here today is Ross Coulthart had Dr. Jim Segals, who is a physicist and engineer, and he's been studying UFO cases since 2018. So there's a lot of things that he talked about inside of this particular clip, which is a long clip, about a 6-minute clip that I'm going to play for you guys. And there's some things that he said that it includes Skinwalker Ranch and other things that's very interesting. So let's play this clip, and then we'll talk about it afterwards. Here it is.
Now, Jim, I've got to ask you now, I mean, when you're talking about a craft whizzing by, have you been anywhere where a craft or some kind of UAP has whizzed by and you've seen a change in a magnetic field or any other of these correlative sensor data sets?
So now, after we've done this it started in, say, 2018, we've done this for quite a bit of time now. And I think at this point, we have over 600 instances where we have something verified out in the environment that we've recorded either video or seen through, cell phones or something like that. And at the same time, recorded something with the equipment that allowed us to correlate those two together. And then on top of that, looking back at the people, having them report that within some period of time afterwards, they would have some type of change to their body that indicated that something energetic went by them.
So the way this works, you've got people who've previously experienced anomalous phenomena, including a lot of your test subjects, I understand, have been people who were working in the Uinta Basin, including at Skinwalker Ranch and Blind Frog Ranch. And they were reporting anomalous phenomena, and they were keeping a journal. And so they'd presumably wake up in the middle of the night and say, I just saw an orb in my bedroom. Or, I mean, give me some examples of what they saw.
So it was a nice little system that was set up for them. So these devices would just sit there and record, and they would just all in the background record. But you also gave them a nice little portal where they can actually log all of their anecdotal narratives of, like, I woke up and I had this incredible dream. The dogs were barking, and all of a sudden there was an orb that flew by. I went outside, I looked up, and there was something, and I took a picture of it. So we have all the narratives and all of this anecdotal information from these people for, over 3 years worth of data. We had well over 35 people that actually participated in this. And it's like gobs and gobs of data that we put through models, and we allowed us to do.
So let me cut to the quick. There's a case study in one of your PowerPoints that you very kindly sent me, and it's number 316. And in it, the patient is quoted as saying, immediately after you've picked up some data that actually corroborates this, they say, quote, I am telling you, last night was such a crazy night. If I were to ever say I was abducted, it would have been last night. It was the strangest experience. Can you tell me, I don't expect you to know this off by heart, but can you tell me, do you recall what you picked up in terms of correlative, measurable data at the exact point that that person described that experience?
Right. So the interesting part of the experiment that we did is that it's sort of a blind experiment. The people have no idea what the data looks like. They never really know. They know maybe 2-3 weeks later. But they just put these like things in it, and this one popped up one night, and I looked at it and I said, well, that's interesting. And when they pop up, they also show the system shows you what's going on in all the other sensors, and all of a sudden I had to see at the exact moment that person said that, leading up to that point, there was this enormous electromagnetic spike and gamma spike simultaneously in 2 of the sensors. So it was like the person had this incredible dream or whatever happened to them. They had this feeling that there were, something was going on with them. And I looked at the recording of the sensors, and that popped out. There was this enormous amount of electromagnetic energy and gamma energy in the room.
Just to give the viewers the exact numbers, it was 22 times the normal levels of gamma radiation.
Yes, I
and
forgot about that. Yeah, that's
10 times the normal levels of microwave radiation. Now,
yes.
Is there anything prosaic, anything normal, anything mundane that can explain how it came to be that at the very same time that that person was reporting anomalous phenomena or experience, you were detecting with your independent sensors, without the knowledge of that person, huge leaps in gamma radiation and microwave radiation?
So I can explain probably a very simple way that you can do electromagnetic energy. I mean, you can put it in a microwave and you can zap it. I mean, that's one way to do it. The gamma, though, that when the gamma spikes, you can't go to a Home Depot and do gammas and buy anything to do that. I mean, that's something that you'd have to go to a linear accelerator or something like that, or go to a oncology to have any kind of gamma of that level.
So, Jim, I'm doing you the favor of making the point here. You're a very cautious, measured, objective scientist. What I love about your research is, frankly, it's a poke in the eye for the people in mainstream science who contemptuously dismissed the idea that there isn't this kind of work being done. You are looking at controlled blind studies where test subjects are reporting anomalous phenomena, and you are receiving data independently without the knowledge of those people, verifying at exactly the same time that they are experiencing spikes in, well, isn't that alarmingly dangerous levels of radiation we're talking about? 22 times normal gamma?
Yeah, but it happens over short periods of time. So it's not like in other words, if you go into an oncology and you had radiation, therapy for some lesion, it's something that would be over minutes and hours. This is like very, very short, very high pulses. So, I don't, make it fantastic or anything, but it's almost like it's been turned on, turned off really quickly. So, but it's enough for the instrumentation to measure it.
All right. So there's a lot going on in that clip, and to bring a little bit more to explain what the hell's going on in that clip is the one and only Pavel. Pavel, explain to us, why should we care about everything that was said in that clip?
Hey, Kristian. Yeah, I get that maybe some people might have a hard time understanding a lot of what the doctor is talking about. He's talking about frequencies and different types of gamma rays and a lot of instrumentation that he uses to study the phenomena in that area of Utah. I think that the most important aspect of all of this is that Ross is trying to make a point to all the people from the scientific community, from the mainstream scientific community, who keep saying that the phenomenon cannot be studied and that therefore it doesn't exist. What this scientist is doing on a consistent basis over there at the Utah area, specifically in Skinwalker Ranch, but he also goes to a different ranch, is a scientific study of unidentified anomalous phenomena. And I think that it will help demystify all of the stigma associated specifically with Skinwalker Ranch. Because every time, I don't know if you get the same feeling, man, when you hear the name Skinwalker Ranch, at first I immediately went like, that place is kind of weird. I mean, cattle mutilation,
Yeah.
and strange phenomena, the hitchhiker effect. And when Jesse Michaels was on your show, he's talked about this. I don't know if he did it on your show. I don't think so.
Yeah, he talked about
when
it. He went
when
there.
he went to
Yeah.
Skinwalker Ranch.
Yeah, something weird
he caught
happened.
something.
Yeah,
that,
he told me.
yeah.
He told me on the show, and I watched. Look, I watched I believe there's something weird going on there for sure. But I watched the first episode, and it's definitely the other thing that you have to realize when you're watching that show. It's a show, and
Yeah.
it feels like a show. Not that it doesn't feel authentic, like there's not stuff going on. Of course, it does. But I've worked in reality television, and they have to make it entertaining for you to keep watching it. So they cut things in a certain way. They put music in for a certain way to make it feel a little extra creepy and all those things. Again, not devaluing and not saying that there's not real stuff going on there. I believe that there is. And I think that there's a whole reason why Sean Kirkpatrick was lying about not having that meeting with Brandon Fugel, and that there's a lot more stuff going on there than meets the eye. But you have to also take in consideration that there's entertainment that is being made also. So when I hear this stuff, I feel like I can answer every story we talk about with the same answer. And that's, if this stuff is out there, then why are me and you talking about it on YouTube and people aren't talking about it every day on the news? Like, it's just something that seems to be, hey, there's a scientist who's studying these things in radiation, and maybe the answer is because I told you, I'm watching the clip, and like, I like Ross Coulthart's show, I like it a lot, and I love science, but I'm like, wait, they're talking about what and this, and the average person's going, wait, how does this work? And you're doing what? And the guy didn't even know at one point. Ross was like, oh yeah, and then there's like a 4 times the amount of radiation. It's like, oh yeah, I forgot about that fact. It's like, you lead with that fact. That fact, and it's like,
and he, to his credit, he said he forgot it because it happens really fast.
Right.
It is like a really big uptick.
The on and off switch.
Like in the blink of an eye.
Yeah. Which I thought he explained that pretty well. But I think that the story here is essentially that, that there are, as Ross says it, I think, that there are like real scientists out there studying this stuff, and it's not like, well, nobody's even paying attention to it. It's not real. It's like, well, clearly it is. There are people out there, there are minds out there that are studying it because there's something going on. And there's all these other reports. It's just that for as many real, legitimate people that are out there studying it and talking about it, there are just as many people who are trying to capitalize on it. So, right, you're like, so who do you believe in this circumstance? I don't think this guy's trying to capitalize. I think he's actually studying stuff. But I'm just saying.
There's another aspect too that we haven't talked about with this specifically, and also, for example, remote viewing and all this stuff that Stanford and the CIA and other agencies have studied. There's this weaponization aspect of all of these things.
Sure.
And they can't accept in public that they're real if they're trying to weaponize them. So that's a major explanation of why a lot of the mainstream media outlets and governments don't want to talk about this, and they dismiss it as fake or pseudoscience. It's because they want to weaponize it and they want to do it in secret. So what's the best way to keep people away? Say it's fake.
Right, of course. And it's like it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
It's like the same.
Yep.
It's like, there's more information every day, but the question that always lands is, when in a story like this is what I always have hope for, Pavel, is that when the information finally comes out, right, and you get people who comment every day and say, you guys are too happy about this stuff, or you're too optimistic about this stuff, that it's never going to come out, and they very well might be true. I mean, might be right about it. But if there is information that is released, and let's say again that all these studies and all these other things come out, I mean, a lot of eggs on people's faces. So anyway, Pavel, thank you for joining me as always here. We'll be back again tomorrow, and I hope you join me.
Thank you, Kristian.
All right, so what do you think, man? What do you think about this clip from Ross about the doctor? Did you tune into it? Did you pick up what he was throwing down? Do you think it is very important that you have people out there studying this and showing that there are people exactly paying attention to this stuff in the world of science, and how important that is? So make sure you comment, tell us exactly what you think. And as always, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that already. As I mentioned, we have our memberships, but we also have our sponsors. So if you'd like to help out the show and you want to do that, let me tell you about both of them right now. See you tomorrow. This episode of Down to Earth with Kristian Harloff is sponsored by BetterHelp. Let me ask you, what are your self-care non-negotiables? What is it, that you never skip a leg day or therapy day? Because when your schedule is packed with kids' activities, big work projects, and more, it's easy to let your priorities slip. Because even when we know what makes us happy, it is hard to make time for it. But when you feel like you have no time for yourself, non-negotiables like therapy are more important than ever. Therapy is very important. I've been in that position, man, when I haven't talked and I've let things bottled up, and it is not a good thing. You got to talk to people. And we've had people on our show that have said, listen, we've needed to speak to people. We had an opportunity to, and BetterHelp has been there for a lot of people very close in my life. Because if you don't know, it's entirely online. It's designed to be convenient, it is flexible, and it is suited to your schedule. All you have to do is you fill out a brief questionnaire, you get matched with a licensed therapist, and you switch therapists anytime, no additional charge. Never skip therapy day with BetterHelp. You got to visit betterhelp.com/DTE today. You get 10% off your first month. That's betterhelp.com/DTE. All right, before you get out of here, I got to tell you a good way to save money. And one way to save money is stop spending money on things you don't need. Like apps that you're like, oh, that app's going to be amazing. I'm going to use that app. I'll use it free and I'll never use it ever again. And then they charge you. That's what they do. They charge you every month. Well, that's where Rocket Money comes in. Rocket Money is a great service. It's a personal finance app, and it finds and cancels unwanted subscriptions. It monitors your spending, and it helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all the app's features. Most Americans think they spend around $62 a month on subscriptions. Yeah, right. The real number is close to $300. That is literally thousands of dollars a year, half of which probably have been forgotten about. So that is why I use Rocket Money, and I absolutely love them. Stop wasting money on things you don't even use. Cancel unwanted subscriptions today. Go to rocketmoney.com/DTE. That's rocketmoney.com/DTE. One more time, rocketmoney.com/DTE.